we have our next presenting company. We have the co-founder and COO of Tygrus, Mr. John Copolino.
Yes, how are you?
Hello, sir.
Can everyone see that?
Yep.
All right, there we go. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to present our company. My name is John Copolino. I am one of the founders and the CEO of Tygrus, a licensing technology development company. I know I see a few familiar faces here and would love to grab a drink with everybody after this webinar, but obviously we can't today, but maybe next time. Today,
I'm with you on that.
Today, I'm going to share with you a breakthrough in novel patented chemistry. Throughout history, the imagination of the world's greatest innovators. Why isn't this not moving? Oh, just give me one. Oh, there we go. I said throughout history, the imagination of great innovators has provided life-sustaining chemical solutions that basically allow us to maintain our lifestyle. The food we eat, the medicine we take, the crops we grow, the cars we drive, the homes we live in. And without these chemicals, it'd be impossible to sustain our life of over 7.4 billion people on the planet. The problem with that is, unfortunately, there's side effects. And when you start talking about side effects, we all have seen oil spills, hazardous chemical spills, industrial pollution, chemical burns, birth defects, and even cancer. And when you start thinking about agriculture, just think about the millions of gallons of pesticides used every day in our food supply. So when we look at, man, this thing is not wanting to change. There it goes. Oh, my apologies. So what I'd like you to do right now is imagine if we could increase the food supply without using harmful pesticides. Imagine if you could kill COVID-19 virus without using harmful disinfectants. Imagine if you could manufacture personal care products without toxic preservatives. Sounds impossible. Whoop. Well, Tygrus has discovered a new sustainable low-tox acid and a new sustainable low-tox base that have thousands of applications across dozens of vertical markets. And in fact, our products are patented. So we have a composition of matter patent for a new acid, a new base that can be used in agriculture from growth to preservation. Sounds a little bit too good to be true. Well, if we would have been talking a few years back, it would have been probably difficult for me to convince you that it was true. But today we built a brand new plant in Michigan for under $2 million that can produce literally millions of gallons. Our profit margins are over 80%. Our EBITDA, when we get to critical mass, is over 50%. And this past quarter, we actually did $3 million in new licensing deals, global licensing deals that involve cleaning and disinfecting in agriculture. And in addition, we've attracted some of the best scientists in the world because of the mission that we're on. And if Dr. Atala was here, the director of Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine, he would tell you this chemistry is the most promising medical advancement in decades, and it has been demonstrated to facilitate both cellular functions. Larry Carlson, my partner and one of our founders, and a scientist for many years with Fortune 50 companies, he would tell you the ag tech testing of our growth enhancement product on cannabis, soybeans, corn, potatoes, sugar beets has resulted on average of increased crop yields of 10 to 30% and a reduction in time to harvest. And of course, Dr. Stephen Johnson, the former head of the EPA, would tell you that he's focused all of his efforts after he retired on the challenges that EPA faces. And he believes that Tygrus is a safe acid technology, less toxic approach to a wide range of industry issues involving dangerous chemistry. But what does that mean in the cannabis industry? Well, picture tells 1,000 words. We've done numerous testing in cannabis, and you can see we will increase crop yield with a much safer alternative to typical additives and pesticides that are used. It is an additive. It goes with a fertilizer and is fed to the plant when you're feeding the newts. That's just an example of some of the testing we've done over the years, where we've seen increased crop yields from 10 to 35% just in cannabis. And then if you look at other crops that we've tested, green lettuce, potatoes, soybeans, sugar beets, tomatoes, sunflowers, we've seen crop yields from 10 to 40%. And then, of course, on the cannabis side, there's a whole nother application, and that's when manufacturing CBD, we can be used both as a potential preservative to replace hazardous chemicals and also as an ingredient to enhance the active ingredient in the CBD product. Here's just a few other pictures of some other crops, lettuce. And you can see this was done hydroponically with a control sample and then a sample that used our product. And we're only using it at about a 10 mil per gallon dosage. And you can see the roots that tell you the whole story. So why invest in Tygrus? We've discovered new water synthesized chemistry. We have immediate international opportunities on all of our various applications, from cleaning to disinfecting to agriculture to medical. As we said, we've just begun saving the world. We've just started our licensing deals in Australia, New Zealand, the EU, and North America. We've built an amazing patent portfolio. We probably have 3 or 4 dozen patents that are in process and 5 or 6 that have been granted and issued. We've had tremendous testing done by third parties in all aspects of our business. Oh. My apologies for the, and most importantly, we're generating profit margins that are well above the industry norms. Excuse me one second here. So with that being said, right now we are in the process of raising $5 million in our parent company, Tygrus. To date, we've raised 10 million to date. We're also raising $1 million in our ag tech company, and we'll also be raising an additional $2 million in our biotech company. Once again, if you look at some of the highlights, we do have the perfect ingredients for success: high gross profit margins, low capex. Our production facility is up and running, and we have ongoing commercialization in multiple vertical markets. World-class team of advisors and dedicated professionals that are on our mission. And our mission, once again, is to provide safer, more effective solutions to replace the millions of gallons of hazardous chemistry used in ag tech and other industries. And we're going to keep innovating. We're looking for strategic partners and licensing partners. And of course, we're certainly looking for great investment partners. And we've been very fortunate in the folks we've brought into the company up to this point. So I thank you for your time and look forward to exploring all the possibilities.
Thanks, John. Really a timely solution and well thought out as well. Blake?
Quick one. Are any of your license agreements with governments?
No, we are working. We have a couple grants that we've been provided up in Michigan. We're working on some very large grants. We're also working in the biotech space in some therapeutics for COVID-19. And we are talking to some potential PPE states about once we have approval as a disinfectant to use our product as a PPE solution. It's now approved in Singapore. We just shipped some product to Singapore, and we're currently negotiating with licensing deals on every continent.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Yeah, so I'm a little confused. So the investment now is going into the parent company or to a subsidiary? Because
so we are doing,
you mentioned a lot of different entities.
Yeah, we're doing multiple investments right now. Tygrus is basically the holding company that controls the IP. And okay, we have separate subsidiaries for ag tech, for biotech, and for clean tech. The ag tech company is raising $1 million convertible note in the first quarter. The parent company is currently raising a $5 million equity round. And in fact, we're in the process right now of converting all of our senior debt to equity. We're converting all of our convertible notes to equity. And by the time we begin next year, we'll have no convertible notes, no debt, and all common stock.
And the parent company owns what percentage of the subs?
Initially, when we roll them out, we own 100%. We then bring in management that's focused in that subsidiary that would be provided equity, in the 10% range, or typical equity for a management team. And then we would bring in strategic investors that would invest in the various ag tech or biotech companies. One of the reasons for the structure is, you guys know, as investors, there's a much different profile for a biotech investor than there would be an ag tech investor or a clean tech investor.
So as an investor in the parent company, then I could be.
As an investor in the parent company, you would be an owner in all of the subsidiaries. And when we did distributions through subsidiaries, there could potentially be distributions going through the parent company. Our strategy is kind of trickle up economics. We're going to create liquidity events at the subsidiary level that can trickle up to the parent by using these subsidiaries, including our ag tech, which obviously includes the cannabis space.
And all the subs, they all have their own staff, infrastructure, et cetera, or do they get that from the parent?
So we're leveraging the parent for manufacturing, for human resources, admin, legal. However, the subs would be involved on the distribution, sales, marketing. And really what we're looking for is great CEOs that have the ability to sign 7-figure global licensing deals, because that's really where the action is at the subsidiary level. They also have some R&D at the subsidiary level, but the majority of the technical R&D, we have 2 scientists on our staff that have 200 patents worldwide between them. So we have some great scientists working with us. And then we have some great doctors working with us, again, on the biotech side. There are really interesting applications on biotech for CBD, and we would definitely be interested in looking to pursue R&D opportunities, certainly with some of the companies that have even presented today.
Okay, I've taken up enough time. I'll let someone else ask questions.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Jeff. They were great questions. Scott?
Yeah, great questions. In fact, that was my question about the parent, but I'll shift to another question. Good to see you, John. So from a sales and marketing standpoint, how do you penetrate the cannabis world and convince people that this is really important? How do you gain market share, and who are your competitors in this space?
So our strategy in cannabis has shifted. We originally rolled out a product called Ferocious. We got some distributors going. We got some momentum going. We quickly realized that we didn't have the bandwidth or really the goodwill in the industry to roll out such a new disruptive technology. We are now negotiating with potential strategic partners who would license our technology for cannabis, take that product to the cannabis market under their brands, using our product as an additive. And we've now also focused in heavily on the general agricultural space, or ag tech space, for both indoor and outdoor growing. In addition to that, we are looking, Scott, as we talked about, for partners on the CBD side, because we know we have, from working with some of the big personal care companies, non-CBD, we believe that we can both help as a replacement for preservatives when preservatives are required in CBD personal care products, and also potentially enhancing the active ingredient, which obviously is the CBD in these various formulations.
How many paying customers do you need that are going to be licensing, this? Like how big can it get? Like if you have 30 new customers next year, what size do you get to, and what's your outlook there?
I mean, we know that, just to give you an idea, one large farm, a few hundred acres or 1,000-acre farm, can literally be hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue for the company. So I'll give you soybeans, for instance. We did a small farm up in Michigan. The farmer generated an extra $500,000 in gross revenue, of which cost him about $80,000 to pay us for the actual product itself. So he netted $420,000. So, and that was a low return on investment compared to some of the others we've seen. So we know we have a great return on investment for cash crops like cannabis, and even non-cash crops, corn, potatoes, etc. From a preservative standpoint, we've even done some testing on fresh cut potatoes and showed that we can increase shelf life on fresh cut potatoes from 20 days to 40 days when they're packed and then shipped around the country. So a lot of potential in the food, beverage, cannabis space, and certainly on the personal care, biotech, and CBD space. We think we're just at the tip of the iceberg. and certainly looking for strategic partners. That was one of the reasons I thought this would be interesting to get involved with is, I think there's some real benefits to our technology when we partner with the right cannabis and CBD companies to bring these products to market.